Lieutenant Adam Clark stood at the viewport of the Nova horizon, watching as the massive Sylvari royal vessel came into view. The ship looked like a giant metallic insect with its segmented hull and wing-like solar collectors. His heart beat faster. After months of careful messages back and forth, humans would finally meet the Sylvari face to face. "Lieutenant, are you ready?" Captain Susan Miller asked, straightening her uniform. Her gray eyes showed both excitement and worry. Adam nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be, Captain. Remember, you were chosen for this because you understand alien biology and stay calm under pressure." The Sylvari Queen agreed to meet only one human representative. Make us proud. The shuttle ride to the Sylvari ship felt both too long and too short. Adam reviewed what little they knew about the Sylvari. They were an insect-like species with a strict caste system. Their empire spanned dozens of star systems. They had powerful mental abilities. And most importantly, they needed human help against their enemies, the Vorax. The shuttle docked with a soft hiss. Adam took a deep breath and stepped through the airlock. The Sylvari reception chamber glowed with a soft blue light. The air smelled sweet, like honey mixed with something metallic. 4 guard Sylvari stood at attention, their green exoskeletons gleaming. They stood nearly 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected the light in rainbow patterns. But it was the figure on the raised platform that took Adam's breath away. Queen Zixala of the Sylvari was larger than her guards, with an iridescent purple and gold exoskeleton. A crown-like structure grew naturally from her head, and delicate wing casings folded along her back. Unlike the guards, she had a more humanoid face, though her eyes were still compound and insect-like. "You are the human representative," she said. Her voice had a musical clicking quality, translated through the small device in Adam's ear. "Yes, Your Majesty. I am Lieutenant Adam Clark of Earth. It is an honor to meet you." Adam stepped forward and, following human diplomatic custom, extended his hand. The Queen recoiled, her wing casings flaring slightly. "Don't touch me, human," she hissed, the translation coming through sharp and clear. Adam immediately pulled his hand back. "I apologize, Your Majesty. I meant no offense. The gesture is a human greeting, called a handshake." The Queen's antennae twitched. "We Sylvari do not touch lesser beings. It is contaminating." Adam nodded, keeping his face neutral despite the insult. "I understand. We have much to learn about each other's customs." Queen Zixala seemed to relax slightly. "Indeed. Come, human. We have much to discuss." She turned and walked through a doorway, her movements graceful, despite her insect-like body. Adam followed her into a smaller chamber with a large oval table. The material looked like amber, but felt hard as metal. The Queen sat on one side, and Adam took a seat opposite her. "Your species has expanded quickly," the Queen said. 20 of your Earth years ago, you had barely reached your own moon. Now, you have colonies in 3 star systems. "We are explorers by nature," Adam replied, "and our home planet faces challenges that have pushed us to the stars." The Queen's antennae moved slowly, which Adam guessed was a sign of interest. "Yet you are technologically behind many species, including mine. The Vorax would have destroyed your colonies already if not for the distance and their war with us." Adam leaned forward slightly. "Which is why this meeting is so important. The Vorax have been spotted at the edges of both our territories. We can help each other." "Help?" The Queen made a clicking sound that didn't translate. "You overestimate your worth, human. The Sylvari Empire has existed for 10,000 years. We do not need help. We seek convenience." Adam kept his voice level. "With respect, Your Majesty, the Vorax hive ships have technology that can counter your psychic abilities." Our reports show you've lost 3 border worlds in the past year. The Queen's compound eyes fixed on him, their surface reflecting his own image, back in hundreds of tiny facets. You are well informed for a lesser species. We have good scouts, Adam said, and we've had our own losses. The mining outpost at Proxima Centauri. 300 humans dead. For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Then the Queen spoke. The Vorax consume. They strip planets of resources and use them to build more hive ships. They have no culture, no art, no individual thought. They are an infection in the galaxy. On that, we agree completely. Adam said. Queen Zixala stood and walked to a wall that suddenly became transparent, showing the stars outside. My advisors believe that a temporary alliance with humans might be ... useful. You're unpredictable. Tactics confuse the Vorax hive mind. And your ships, while primitive, are fast. Adam stood as well, keeping a respectful distance. And your psychic abilities could help us coordinate our attacks. Your advanced weapons would give us an edge we desperately need. The Queen turned to face him. Do not mistake this for friendship, human. The Silvari do not make friends with short-lived species. This is survival. Understood, Adam said. But sometimes survival partnerships can lead to greater understanding. You are ... optimistic, the Queen said, almost like an accusation. Adam smiled slightly. It's a human trait, a strange one. The Queen moved back to the table and pressed a spot on its surface. A 3-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared between them, with territories marked in different colors. These are the current Vorax positions. They will reach your colony on Wolf 359 within 3 of your months. Adam studied the map with growing concern. The Vorax controlled more territory than human intelligence had realized. And this red area near your homeworld? The Queen's antennae flattened against her head. The Brood faction. Silvari separatists who believe our empire has grown weak through isolation. They would have us conquer rather than trade. They see this alliance as proof of my weakness. Internal. Politics are never easy, Adam said. No. The Queen waved a hand, and the map disappeared. We will continue these discussions tomorrow. My advisors wish to speak with me about today's meeting. Adam bowed slightly. Thank you for your time, Your Majesty. As he turned to leave, the Queen spoke again. Lieutenant Adam Clark. He paused and looked back. Yes, Your Majesty? You handled yourself ... adequately. ... for a human. Perhaps there is hope for this alliance? Adam smiled. I'll take that as a compliment. Take it however you wish, the Queen replied, but Adam thought he detected a slight change in her tone. Not warmth, exactly, but perhaps a fraction less coldness. As he walked back to the shuttle, Adam knew the real work was just beginning. The Queen might find humans repulsive, but with the Vorax threat growing, neither species had the luxury of prejudice. Somehow, he needed to build a bridge between 2 entirely different worlds. What he didn't know was how soon that bridge would be tested or how personal the alliance would become. 3 months passed. The alliance between humans and Silvari grew stronger on paper, but tensions remained high. Lieutenant Adam Clark spent his days in meetings with Queen Zixala and her advisors, planning joint defense strategies against the Vorax. Today they orbited a neutral planet called Viros, a jungle world rich in rare minerals. Both species needed. Adam sat in the meeting room aboard the Nova Horizon, watching the Queen study battle plans on the holographic display. He had learned to read her body language somewhat, the way her antennae twitched when she was thinking, how her wing cases fluttered slightly when annoyed. Your ships should guard the outer system, the Queen said, pointing at the display. Silvari. Vessels will form the inner defense. Captain Miller frowned. "With respect, Your Majesty, it puts our ships in the most vulnerable position. Your vessels are more maneuverable," the Queen replied, "and more expendable." Adam saw Captain Miller's jaw tighten. "Perhaps a mixed formation would be more effective," he suggested quickly. "Combine the speed of our ships with the firepower of yours." Before the Queen could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. The deck shuddered beneath them. "Captain Miller to bridge. What's happening?" Miller shouted into her communicator. "Vorax ships, Captain." They came out of nowhere, some kind of new cloaking technology. "They're hitting both us and the Silvari vessel." The Queen's compound eyes widened. "Impossible. Our sensors would have—" Another blast rocked the ship, throwing everyone off balance. The lights flickered. "Hull breach on deck 5. A voice shouted. Over the comm. "Emergency protocols engaged." Queen Zix-Ala touched a device on her wrist. "Return me to my vessel immediately," she commanded in her clicking language. "Negative, Your Majesty," came the response from her ship. "Our teleporters are damaged. We are under heavy attack." Captain Miller grabbed a nearby rail to steady herself. "We need to get to the escape pods. This section of the ship isn't safe." Adam helped the Queen to her feet, careful not to actually touch her exoskeleton. "This way, Your Majesty." They hurried through corridors filled with smoke and flashing. Emergency lights. Crew members ran in all directions. Another explosion sent them staggering against a wall. "The main path to the escape pods is blocked," Miller shouted, checking her tablet. "We'll have to go through the science labs." As they raced through the ship, Adam glanced out a viewport. What he saw made his blood run cold. The Nova horizon was breaking apart. The Silvari royal vessel fared no better, its insect-like form now cracked and burning in several places. Around them, 6 Vorax ships shaped like massive centipedes with glowing segments fired continuously. They reached the escape pod bay just as another explosion tore through the ship. Captain Miller was thrown forward, her head striking a metal beam with a sickening crack. She collapsed, blood pooling beneath her. Adam knelt beside her, checking for a pulse. Nothing. "We must go, human," the Queen said, her voice urgent but controlled. "Now." Adam looked up at her, then back at Captain Miller's body. With a grim nod, he stood and activated the nearest escape pod. "Get in," he told the Queen, punching coordinates into the pod's navigation system. "This is programmed to reach the surface of Veros. Rescue ships will look for us there." The Queen entered the pod, her tall form barely fitting in the human-designed space. Adam squeezed in after her and sealed the door. With a violent jerk, the pod launched away from the dying ship. Through the small viewport, they watched as both the Nova horizon and the Silvari royal vessel exploded in brilliant flashes of light. The escape pod tumbled through space, its systems struggling to maintain course toward the planet below. "You're Captain Miller," the Queen said after a long silence. She was competent for a human. Adam stared at the controls. She was a good person, a friend. The Queen's antennae twitched. "Friend, you humans use this word often." Before Adam could respond, the pod shuddered violently. Warning lights flashed across the control panel. "Heat. Shield damage," Adam said, checking the systems. "This isn't going to be a smooth landing." The pod entered Veros's atmosphere, flames licking at the viewport as they descended. Adam tried to control their trajectory, but the pod spun wildly. They were falling too fast. "Brace for impact," he shouted. The crash came with a deafening roar. Metal tore, systems failed, and darkness claimed Adam. He woke to pain and the sound of hissing gas. Forcing his eyes open, Adam saw the pod's interior in ruins. A small fire burned near the control panel. Worse, The air had a greenish tint, Varos's toxic atmosphere leaking in. "Your Majesty?" he called, looking around frantically. The Queen lay against the far wall, her exoskeleton cracked along one side. A blue fluid leaked from the wound. Her compound eyes flickered dimly. Adam pulled himself to her side, wincing at the pain in his ribs. "We need to seal the pod and fix that wound." "The atmosphere," the Queen said weakly. "It is poisonous to both our species." Adam checked the emergency kit under his seat. It contained an atmosphere filter, basic medical supplies, and a distress beacon. The filter would buy them time, but not much. "I need to seal your exoskeleton," Adam said, examining the crack. "There's medical sealant in the kit, but ... But what, human?" the Queen asked. "I'll have to touch you to apply it." The Queen's eyes flickered again. "Don't touch me, human," she hissed, but her voice lacked its usual force. "You'll die if I don't," Adam said simply. For several long moments, the Queen said nothing. The blue fluid continued to leak, forming a small puddle beneath her. "Proceed," she finally said, her voice barely audible. Adam nodded and prepared the sealant. As gently as possible, he placed his fingers on either side of the crack in her exoskeleton. The surface felt smooth and warm, almost like polished stone got. As he applied the sealant, something strange happened. A tingling sensation ran up his arms, into his mind. Images flashed before his eyes. A vast, crystalline chamber filled with eggs. A young Sylvari being taught to control her psychic abilities. The weight of a crown being placed on her head. ... The Queen jerked away, breaking the connection. Her eyes were wide, antennae rigid with shock. "What did you do?" she demanded. I don't know," Adam said truthfully. "I saw ... memories." "Your memories?" The Queen turned away, her wing cases trembling. "Slightly. A psychic link. Impossible with a human. Yet it happened." Adam finished sealing the wound without further incident, though he felt the Queen's eyes on him the entire time. When he was done, he activated the atmosphere filter and distress beacon. "The filter will clean the air for about a week," he said. "The beacon should reach any rescue ships in the area." "If any survived," the Queen said quietly. Outside, through the cracked viewport, they could see the jungle of Vero's massive purple trees, with canopies that blocked much of the sky. Strange calls echoed in the distance. "We need to find better shelter," Adam said. "The pod isn't secure." The Queen rose shakily to her feet. "Then we must work together, human, for survival." Adam nodded, gathering the few supplies that remained intact. As they prepared to step out into the alien jungle, he couldn't help but wonder about the brief psychic connection. What had the Queen seen in his mind? And why did she now look at him, not with disdain, but with something closer to curiosity? A week passed on the jungle planet of Veros. Adam and Queen Zixala found shelter in a cave system near a small river of clear blue water. The cave protected them from the worst of the toxic atmosphere, and they discovered the water was safe to drink after Adam tested it with the survival kit's analyzer. Adam sat at the cave entrance, watching the strange purple trees sway in the wind. His ribs still hurt from the crash, but less than before. He had fashioned spears from broken parts of the escape pod and managed to catch some fish-like creatures from the river. They tasted terrible, but were edible for both species. The distress beacon has been active for 7 days, the Queen said, emerging from the deeper part of the cave where she spent most of her time. No response. Adam nodded. The atmospheric interference is strong. It might take weeks for anyone to find us. The Queen sat nearby, her movements more fluid now that her wound had mostly healed. Your medical sealant worked well. Good, Adam said. He had avoided mentioning the brief psychic connection that happened during the treatment, and so had she. They sat in silence for a while, watching the alien landscape. Adam had noticed small changes in the Queen over the past week. She no longer flinched when he moved near her. She had begun asking questions about Earth and human society. Small things, but significant given her previous disdain. "Your species values family units," the Queen said suddenly. "Parents raising their own offspring. It seems ... inefficient." Adam smiled slightly. "Maybe, but there's something special about it too. Sylvari eggs are selected based on genetic quality," she explained. "Royal eggs are raised by specialized caregivers. I never knew my parents. The concept is foreign to us. Everyone needs connection," Adam said, "even if it takes different forms." The Queen's antennae twitched thoughtfully. "Perhaps. The Brood faction believes our isolation has made us weak. I always dismissed this as dangerous thinking, but now—" Her voice trailed off. Adam stood up, wincing at the pain in his side. "I'm going to check our food supply." As he turned, a wave of dizziness hit him. He staggered, nearly falling. His skin felt hot, and his vision blurred. "Adam?" the Queen said, using his first name for the first time. "What is wrong?" "Not sure," he mumbled, sinking to his knees. "Feel sick." The Queen moved closer, examining him with her compound eyes. "Your face is red. Your breathing is labored." Adam coughed, and his chest burned with pain. "Maybe ... spores. Saw some on the fish this morning. Thought I washed them off." "Lie down," the Queen commanded, her voice firm but not harsh. Adam obeyed, too weak to argue. The cave floor felt cool against his hot skin. He closed his eyes as another wave of dizziness washed over him. "I need to lower your body temperature," the Queen said, "and remove the toxins." Adam forced his eyes open. "How?" The Queen hesitated, her wing cases fluttering nervously. "I must use my psionic abilities. It will require sustained contact." Despite his fever, Adam understood what this meant. "You don't have to." "I do," she interrupted. "You will die otherwise." Without further discussion, she knelt beside him and placed 2 of her 4 hands on his chest and forehead. Her touch was cool and smooth. "Remain still," she instructed. Adam felt a strange sensation spread through his body like cool water flowing through his veins. The Queen's compound eyes seemed to glow slightly as she concentrated. The pain in his chest eased, and his breathing became less labored. As with their first touch, images began to flow between them. Adam saw more of the Queen's memories. Her loneliness growing up in the royal chambers, the constant pressure to be perfect, her secret doubts about Sylvari traditions. But this time, the connection went deeper. The Queen gasped slightly, but maintained contact. "I see ... your world. So much water, and green plants. Earth," Adam whispered. "What's left of it?" More images flowed. Adam, as a child playing in one. Of the last forests, his parents teaching him to value the natural world. His decision to join the space program to find solutions for humanity's resource crisis. "You truly believe different species can help each other," the Queen said softly. "Not just use each other." "Yes," Adam said, his voice stronger now. "There's more to gain through cooperation than conquest." The Queen continued the healing process for nearly an hour. When she finally removed her hands, Adam's fever had broken. He felt weak, but no longer in danger. "Thank you," he said, sitting up slowly. The Queen moved back, but not as far as she once would have. "You saved my life after the crash. I have now saved yours. We are ... equal." Adam smiled. "Is that important to you? Being equal?" "I am a queen," she said, her antennae moving in what Adam had come to recognize as amusement. "I am equal to no one. And yet here you are, stuck in a cave with a human." To Adam's surprise, The Queen made a soft clicking sound that his translator didn't catch. It took him a moment to realize she was laughing. "Indeed," she said, "the universe has a strange sense of humor." That night, as Adam rested and regained his strength, the Queen spoke more than she had in the entire week before. She asked about human families, art, music concepts that existed in different forms among the Sylvari, but were not valued the same way. "Your species is chaotic," she observed, "unpredictable, but there is ... beauty in it." "And your species values order and tradition," Adam replied. "That has its own kind of beauty." The Queen was quiet for a moment. "When I was connected to your mind, I felt something strange. A feeling when you thought of your home, your people. It was ... warm. Probably love," Adam said, "or belonging." "We do not have words for such things," the Queen said. "The closest concept would be duty or loyalty." "To the hive." Adam looked at her. "But you feel them. I saw that in your memories. You care deeply about your people." The Queen's antennae drooped slightly. "Perhaps, but a ruler must be logical, not emotional." "Why not both?" Adam asked. Before she could answer, a distant sound caught their attention. A low rumbling, growing louder dot, they moved to the cave entrance. Through gaps in the purple forest canopy, they could see lights in the night sky ships entering the atmosphere. Rescue? Adam wondered aloud. The Queen's posture suddenly stiffened. "No," she said, her voice sharp with alarm. "Those engine signatures? They are Vorax." Adam's heart sank. "They're searching for survivors." "For me," the Queen corrected. "A Sylvari Queen would be a valuable prisoner. They could extract information about our defenses, our tactics." Adam watched the lights move across the sky, growing brighter as they descended. "We need to move deeper into the cave system, hide our tracks." The Queen nodded. "Yes, and we must find a way to boost our distress signal without alerting the Vorax to our location." As they gathered their few supplies, Adam noticed the Queen watching him. "What is it?" he asked. "A week ago, I would not have believed I could trust a human with my life," she said. "Yet here we are." Adam smiled. "A lot can change in a week." "Indeed," the Queen agreed, her compound eyes reflecting the dim light of the cave. "Much has changed already." Adam and Queen Zixala moved deeper into the cave system, away from the Vorax ships landing in the jungle. The caves twisted and turned, some passages so narrow that the Queen had to fold her wing cases flat against her body to pass through. Reached a large chamber with glowing blue crystals embedded in the walls. The crystals gave off enough light to see by, casting strange shadows across the rocky floor. "These might help us," Adam said, examining one of the crystals. "They're giving off some kind of energy. Maybe we can use them to boost our distress." "Signal." The Queen touched a crystal with one slender finger. "Yes, they resonate at a frequency similar to our communication systems. With the right modifications to the beacon." A distant sound echoed through the caves, a mechanical clicking and whirring that made them both freeze. "Vorax scouts," the Queen whispered. "They're in the caves." Adam grabbed his makeshift spear. "How many?" "Hard to tell. Their hive mind makes it difficult to sense individuals, but they're getting closer." They moved quickly, gathering several of the smaller crystals. Adam wrapped them in a piece of fabric torn from his uniform. The Queen led the way through a narrow passage that sloped. "Upward. We need to reach higher ground," she explained, "both to amplify our signal and to have a tactical advantage." After an hour of climbing through increasingly narrow passages, they emerged onto a ledge high above the jungle. The night sky of Veros glowed with 3 moons, casting multiple shadows across the landscape. In the distance, they could see the lights of 3 Vorax ships and smaller lights moving through the jungle search. Parties. Adam set up the distress beacon, while the Queen arranged the crystals in a specific pattern around it. Working together, they connected the crystals to the beacon, using wires from Adam's survival kit. This should increase the range by at least 50%, the Queen said. But it will also make our position more detectable to the Vorax. Adam nodded grimly. A risk we have to take. He activated the beacon. The crystals began to glow brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the beacon's signal. A low hum filled the air. Now we wait, Adam said, sitting with his back against a rock, and hope our people find us before the Vorax do. The Queen settled beside him, closer than she would have just days ago. The Vorax will be drawn to the signal. We must be prepared to defend ourselves. They sat in silence for a while, watching the searchlights move through the jungle below. Adam found himself studying the Queen's profile in the moonlight. Her alien features no longer seemed so strange to him. If we survive this, Adam said finally, what happens to the alliance between our peoples? The Queen's antennae moved thoughtfully. It will continue, of course. The Vorax threat remains. I meant between us, Adam clarified. This experience, it's changed things, hasn't it? Before the Queen could answer, a noise from the passage behind them made them both turn. A Vorax scout emerged onto the ledge, a creature like a giant centipede with metallic implants along its segmented body. Its front section rose up, revealing multiple glowing eyes, and clicking mandibles. Adam moved instantly. Positioning himself between the Queen and the Vorax, he thrust his spear forward, but the creature was fast. It knocked the weapon aside and lunged toward them. The Queen's hands glowed with psionic energy. She sent a blast toward the Vorax, stunning it momentarily. Adam recovered his spear and drove it into the creature's midsection. Black fluid sprayed from the wound, but the Vorax kept coming. More clicking sounds came from the passage. More scouts were coming. The signal, the Queen shouted. They've traced it already. Adam pulled his spear free and stabbed again, this time hitting one of the Vorax's eyes. The creature shrieked and fell back, its legs thrashing. We need to move, Adam yelled. Find another position. They grabbed the beacon and ran along the ledge, looking for another path. The ledge narrowed, leading to a bridge-like formation of rock that stretched across to another cliff-face. As they reached the middle of the natural bridge, two more Vorax emerged from the passage behind them. Ahead, another scout appeared, blocking their path. We're trapped, Adam said, raising his bloodied spear. The Queen's compound eyes scanned their surroundings rapidly. The crystals, she said. We can use them as weapons. She took one of the crystals from the beacon assembly and focused her psionic energy into it. The crystal glowed brighter, then shot a beam of intense light when she pointed it at the nearest Vorax. The creature's exoskeleton smoked and cracked where the beam hit. Adam followed her example, focusing on the Vorax behind them while she handled the one ahead. The crystals weren't as effective in his hands, lacking her psionic abilities, but they still burned the Vorax when he got close enough. They fought desperately, back to back on the narrow bridge. Adam could feel the Queen's wing cases brush against him as they moved in coordination, almost as if they could sense each other's intentions. One of the Vorax lunged forward, its mandibles snapping at Adam's arm. He wasn't fast enough to dodge completely. The creature's sharp mandibles sliced through his sleeve and into his flesh. Pain shot up his arm, and he felt something burning in the wound poison. Adam, the Queen cried, sensing his pain. In that moment of distraction, the Vorax ahead of her charged. Its armored body slammed into her, knocking her backward. She teetered on the edge of the bridge, arms windmilling as she struggled for balance. Adam dropped his crystal and grabbed her with his good arm, pulling her back from the edge. The sudden movement made him Dizzy, the poison was working fast. The queen steadied herself and turned her attention to the Vorax that had injured Adam. Her eyes glowed with intense fury as she channeled more energy than before into her crystal. The beam that shot forth was blindingly bright, cutting through the Vorax scout like a laser through paper. The remaining Vorax retreated slightly, chittering to each other, communicating through their hive mind, planning their next attack. Adam sank to one knee, his vision blurring. "Poison," he gasped. "In their mandibles." The queen knelt beside him, examining the wound. "It's designed to paralyze prey. I can slow it, but I need time and concentration." Adam looked at the Vorax, regrouping at both ends of the bridge. "Time is something we don't have." The queen's antennae twitched with determination. "Then we make time." She helped Adam to his feet and guided him to a small hollow in the rock wall beside the bridge. It wasn't much protection, but it was better than being exposed on all sides. "Hide the beacon here," she instructed. "Keep the signal going." Adam slumped against the rock, fighting to stay conscious. "What are you going to do?" The queen stood at the entrance to their small shelter, her slender form silhouetted against the moonlight. "What I must. They want me, not you. I will lead them away." "No," Adam protested weakly. "Too dangerous." The queen turned to look at him, her compound eyes reflecting the crystal's glow. "Don't touch me, human," she whispered, but there was a new tone in her voice, something almost like affection. "But I suppose exceptions must be made." She reached out and touched his face briefly, a gentle contact that sent a faint psychic link between them. He felt her determination, her concern for him, and something else, a feeling she still had no name for. "I will return," she promised. Then she was gone, running along the bridge toward the largest group of Vorax, drawing them away from there. Hiding place dot as consciousness slipped away from him. Adam's last thought was that he had to survive, not just for himself or his people, but for her. Something had changed between them, something neither of them had expected, and he wasn't ready to let it go. Adam woke to the sound of distant explosions. His arm throbbed where the Vorax had bitten him, but the burning poison feeling had faded. He sat up slowly, trying to get his bearings. He was still in the small hollow in the rock where Queen Zix-Ala had left him. The distress beacon continued to pulse beside him, the crystals glowing rhythmically. How long had he been unconscious? Hours, at least. The sky visible from the hollow entrance showed the first light of dawn on Veros, painting the jungle purple and gold. More explosions sounded, closer this time. Adam grabbed his spear and crawled to the entrance, peering out carefully. What he saw made his heart leap. In the sky above the jungle, ships were battling Vorax hive ships against. Could it be? Yes. Human vessels and the distinctive insect-like shapes of Sylvari warships fighting together against the common enemy. "They found us," Adam whispered. But where was the queen? She had led the Vorax away to protect him, but had she survived? Adam scanned the bridge and surrounding cliffs, seeing no sign of her or the Vorax scouts. He checked the wound on his arm. Someone had applied more of the medical sealant to it while he was unconscious. The queen must have returned at some point. Using his spear as a walking stick, Adam made his way out onto the rock bridge. The morning air burned his lungs slightly. Veros' atmosphere was still toxic, though less so at this higher elevation. "Your Majesty?" he called, his voice hoarse. "Queen Zix-Ala?" No answer came. Adam moved carefully along the bridge, searching for any sign of the queen or the Vorax. At the far end, he found evidence of a battle-black Vorax blood splattered on rocks, a broken crystal lying on the ground, and most worrying, drops of blue fluid that could only have come from the queen's exoskeleton. Adam followed the trail of blue droplets down a narrow path that wound around the cliff face. The path descended toward a small plateau overlooking the jungle. As he rounded a bend, he finally saw her. Queen Zixala stood at the edge of the plateau, her tall form silhouetted against the rising sun. She was alive, but clearly injured. One of her 4 arms hung limp at her side, and her once pristine exoskeleton was cracked in several places. Around her lay the bodies of 3 Vorax scouts. "Your Majesty," Adam called, hurrying forward. The queen turned. When she saw him, her antennae rose in what Adam had come to recognize as relief. "Adam," she said, "you survived the poison." "Thanks to you," he replied, reaching her side. "You came back and treated my wound." The queen nodded. "The Vorax venom is similar to a toxin some Silvari use in combat training. I was able to neutralize much of it." Adam gestured to the ships battling in the distance. "Our people found us." "The beacon worked." "Yes," the queen said, "but we are not safe yet. The main Vorax hunting party is still searching the jungle below. They know I am here." As if to confirm her words, movement caught Adam's eye. Several Vorax were climbing the cliff face toward their plateau, moving with frightening speed on their many legs. "We need a defensive position," Adam said, looking around. The plateau offered little cover. The queen pointed to a formation of crystals larger than any they had seen before, jutting from the center of the plateau. "There, I have a plan." They hurried to the crystal formation. Up close, Adam could see that the crystals formed a rough circle, creating a natural barrier. "The frequency of these crystals," the queen explained quickly, "can be amplified to disrupt the Vorax hive-mind connection. Without it, they cannot coordinate their attacks." "How do we amplify it?" Adam asked. "With this." The queen held up their distress beacon. "And with my psionic abilities. But I will need your help." The first Vorax reached the edge of the plateau, followed quickly by more. Soon, at least a dozen of the centipede-like creatures surrounded the crystal formation, there, metallic implants gleaming in the morning light. The queen placed the beacon in the center of the crystal circle. "When I begin the amplification, they will attack with everything they have. We must hold them off long enough for the frequency to build." Adam nodded, gripping his spear. "Just tell me what to do." "Stay close to me," the queen said. "Our minds have already connected twice. A third time will create a stronger bond, one that will let me channel energy through you to power the crystals." She hesitated, then added softly, "It will also be ... intimate. Our thoughts, memories, feelings, all will be shared." Adam met her compound eyes without flinching. "I trust you." The queen activated the beacon. The crystals began to glow, their blue light intensifying. At the same time, she placed one hand on Adam's shoulder and another on the nearest crystal. The Vorax sensed the danger immediately. With shrill cries, they charged the crystal circle from all sides. Adam felt the queen's mind touch is no longer a shocking intrusion, but a familiar presence. This time, he welcomed it, opening his thoughts to her as she opened hers to him. Through their shared consciousness, Adam understood what to do. As the first Vorax reached the crystal barrier, he and the queen moved in perfect coordination. He defended the physical space while she channeled psionic energy through both of them into the crystals. The Vorax fought ferociously, their mandibles and clawed limbs slashing at the crystal barrier. Adam stabbed and struck with his spear, keeping them at bay while the queen maintained the psychic link. The crystals grew brighter, humming with energy. The Vorax began to falter, their movements becoming uncoordinated as the amplified frequency disrupted their hive connection. Through his link with the queen, Adam felt her exhaustion. The effort of maintaining the psionic channel was draining her, especially in her injured state. Without thinking, he reached out and took her hand, offering his strength to her. "Don't touch me, human," she whispered, but there was no rejection. In her voice only a gentle reminder of how far they had come. The crystal light reached blinding intensity. The Vorax scattered, their hive-mind connection completely severed. Without it, they were just individual creatures, confused and vulnerable dot above them. A human shuttle and a Sylvari transport ship descended toward the plateau, having spotted the crystal light and the distress beacon signal. The Queen slowly released Adam's hand as their psychic connection faded. They stood side by side, watching their rescuers approach. "What happens now?" Adam asked quietly. The Queen looked at him, her compound eyes reflecting the crystal light. "Now everything changes. For me, for the Sylvari, perhaps for humans too." Ships landed on opposite sides of the plateau. Human soldiers emerged from one, Sylvari warriors from the other. Both groups stopped short, staring in amazement at the sight before them. A human and the Sylvari Queen standing together amid glowing crystals, surrounded by defeated Vorax. More surprising still was when the Queen stepped forward with Adam. At her side, her uninjured hand resting lightly on his shoulder in a gesture no Sylvari would have ever expected from their touch-averse monarch. "The human Lieutenant Adam Clark and I have much to report," she announced to the stunned rescuers. "Beginning with a new understanding between our species that will change the course of this war." Later, aboard the Sylvari royal vessel, the Queen summoned Adam to her private chamber. Her injuries had been treated, her exoskeleton repaired with proper Sylvari technology. "My council is in disarray," she told him. "The concept of the Sylvari Queen forming a psychic bond with a human is unprecedented. Regrets?" Adam asked. The Queen's antennae moved in that gesture of amusement he had come to appreciate. "No. What I felt through our connection was something the Sylvari have forgotten in our isolation. Something we need if we are to survive and grow." "And what was that?" Adam asked, though he already knew the answer. "Connection," she said simply. "Not just duty or alliance, but true understanding. Empathy. Perhaps even what humans call friendship." She moved to viewport, looking out at the stars. "I have requested that you be appointed as the permanent human ambassador to the Sylvari Empire, the first of your kind to serve in such a capacity." Adam joined her at the viewport. "I accept, though some humans might be as shocked as your council." "They will adapt," the Queen said confidently. "As we did?" She turned to face him, and the first time, she extended her hand in the human gesture of a handshake. "The journey ahead will not be easy. The Vorax still threaten both our peoples. The Brood faction will resist these changes. But together, we are stronger." Adam took her offered hand gently. "From don't touch me, human, to this, something certainly has changed." The Queen's antennae dipped in acknowledgement. "Indeed it has, Adam Clark. Indeed it has."